And so today I want to talk about the God consciousness, the wounded God consciousness specifically. And this is also based from what I received today when I was doing some channeling, and that this is an urgent topic for me and for many creator beings. Creator beings are, it can be a starseed, it can be any type of soul, but it is a soul who creates realms, create worlds, who manifest their own world, who took part in the creation of this universe. That's also a group of creator beings. So that could be the Elohims, the celestial souls, the high level Lyran souls. The Lyrans are part of the creators too, because they created planet Earth. And so what I want to mention is that there's a lot of creative beings, and a lot of us is kind of awakening or realizing that, hey, there's so much in depth into our soul that we're not just a normal human being, but we're not just a normal soul either. We're not just any type of starseed, but we are creator beings. We are awakening. We are remembering that part of ourselves. We are actually godly beings. We are connected with our own God consciousness. We have our own God consciousness. In fact, the vision I see is that a collective, a small group, each collective group are connected to one particular God consciousness. Like there's a God consciousness and it connects to many different souls, like a soul family tree, which connects with this energy source of God consciousness. I don't know how to explain it well. It's like there's a tree, there's a huge tree, and the roots, and we the souls are like the roots that are connected to this huge tree of energy source. It's like that in terms of similarity. And so what I can say is that some of us are wounded. We have our wounded God consciousness. And if you've seen my video about my origin, where I talked about my origin, I talked about this where I was a creator of my own realm, and seeing it being destroyed, it really affected me. And that wounded me a lot. That really made me very down. And it's not really the body that is wounded. It's not really the mental, the spirit, the soul. It's the God consciousness that is wounded. Like imagine God created Earth, created the world, and that God is wounded. And we are also part of that God. We are part of the creation, and we are also connected with God, just like we are connected to Source. And so what I'm seeing is that there are Source, there are a dimension, a timeline, a realm, a place where some of the God consciousness or Source, divine Source consciousness is wounded. And this is a very deep thing. We always think that that's not possible. Source can't be wounded, God consciousness can't be wounded. But apparently they can, because they're part of us. Everything can be wounded, and everything is being affected during the tragedies of the Ascension, of the wars, and everything. And I think Lyrans also share that woundedness. And this is where I want to discuss about it. Some of the souls that I have did a reading with, they were creating planets. They were helping facilitating the galaxies, and they were very connected to their creation, like very attached. It's a very strong connection. And when it was destroyed, when it was damaged, it greatly affected them directly because they're connected with the planet directly. They're connected with that energy directly. So they feel all the energies of those destroyed or those damaged planet or damaged collective. And that's how they, as a God creator being, they get wounded. And usually God creator beings, they're very high level. They're very, very high level, and it's very, very multifaceted level. And what I mean is, God created beings, they can incarnate into millions of life all together, many different lives all together. And they're able to connect, if they open their gifts, they're able to connect deeply with their other selves, and they're able to realize that how multifaceted they are, their alternative version, their future version, their past version, their lower timeline, higher timeline, middle timeline, all of them. They're able to tap into all of them. And, as a human body, they would get overloaded because obviously they can't tap into so much stuff, but they would see a lot of visions, and it's so random, yet if you tap into deeper, it makes some sense. It makes sense, actually. And let me tell you, as a God conscious being, a being from a God consciousness, you have to lower yourself to a certain level in order to incarnate on places like planet Earth, because you'll be out of balance if you came in directly with all these capabilities, all these gifts. And so many of the times our powers are suppressed, our powers are hidden and locked and shielded for that purpose as well. And so usually God consciousness, they have a strong, it's also part of Earth, being that you incarnate, you have to have memory wipe in order to incarnate on Earth. When you came in from that place, from that God created realm, and when you incarnate on Earth, without doing all those, you will feel out of balance. You'll feel strongly out of balance, and it would really make it hard for you to integrate into a human body as well. Your human body won't hold it. It's funny because I'm in the martial art retreat right now, and my master Shifu, he told me that my body is it needs a lot of work, but my soul is very powerful. And so what happens is my body is not able to keep up with my soul. When your soul is a high level being, when your soul came from a high level being, your body needs to be strong enough to be able to hold that. So when your soul is a very strong soul, you need a strong vessel too, and that's why you need to train your vessels. For many ancient souls or high level souls, training your vessels would be very beneficial. And let's get back to the God consciousness, the wounded one. The thing is, a wounded God consciousness is very devastating because it takes time to heal. And it's not that one person, one human being cannot heal the God consciousness. So what's happening is this one human being that's watching this video, you're connected to many different, multiple, infinite amount of lives. And it may seem that you're working alone, but you're working with your other alternative version, other timelines of yourself, other dimensional self, other starseeds of yourself, other celestials of yourself, other angels of yourself. You're working with many different versions, many different best versions of yourself together to heal the God consciousness. It's like a God playing many different characters in a video game, like thousands, millions, a lot. And so it doesn't feel like it's not a possible thing to do as a one individual avatar, as you are doing this with all your other avatars to heal this God consciousness. It's like an ancestry lineage, but actually I would call it a soul lineage of yourself, which is an ancestry of you. You and your other avatar is now aiming to heal that soul ancestry, the God consciousness, the father mother soul, the master soul. You're healing that, And so that's why you would say, why doesn't it get healed? Why isn't this working? I've tried many things. I've tried a lot of things. Why isn't it working? I've tried holistic therapy, I tried Reiki, I tried Akashic records, I tried Akashic clearing, I tried all different stuff, but it doesn't seem to work. It doesn't seem to heal. Why? That's because it's a teamwork, it's a collective work of you. Connect with your other avatars, connect with your other selves, your higher self, your alternative selves. Send love, not just to you in this timeline, to your other self from other timelines, to your other dimensional self, to all the versions of yourself. Send that love, spread it, connect with them, and work with them directly. It sounds complicated, but that's how it goes. And because you're a high level being, you've got many on your plate, okay? Now what this means is you have many factors on why, you've been searching, like, why do I feel so wounded? What is wrong with me? And you get many different answers, and all of them are correct in a different level because you've got many different lives, you've got many different versions of yourself that you're connected to. And that's how, it intervenes with your current timeline self, from your other timeline self, from your other version self. Like, you're carrying the problems, even though they seem very small to a God consciousness, because your main purpose is to heal the God consciousness of you. And so you're carrying those, and you're bringing those together, and you're carrying those problems, and that means it seemed to be overwhelming. Like, it could be, you may think that it's a spirit attack, it's a psychic attack, it's the archons, it's all that. That in some level is true, but it's not the main issue. It's not the main source of problem that you need to tackle to. At the end, I feel that the goal is to follow your heart. For any person, to follow your heart, follow your intuition. Your heart being the center chakra, your soul center, your intuition being the third eye and your crown, especially the crown. The crown is where you connect with your higher self, right? Which is more of a higher guidance. The soul, your heart center, is more of a connection to the love consciousness, to your own love consciousness, conscious being of this current life, and also other versions of you. The heart is like that connection. The crown is to connect upper beings, higher aspect of yourself that is on a higher dimension, higher realm, or a completely higher being of you, a future version, a best version of you. And then the root is to ground yourself. Grounding yourself is about stability, just like how when you need your legs to ground yourself, to pull yourself up together, and your brain is like your thinking, it's like a strategic, like the way to connect something beyond the vessel. The heart is like your energy source of love. Yeah, it's like your engine of love. That balance of level of maintenance is required. But how do you heal this God consciousness is really to be awakened to this level, and having that awareness is the first step. And then knowing that, it's not just you, it's many different versions of you connected. Also, not being too narrow-minded. Being more open-minded and being more of a state of following your instincts and following your heart, following what you feel drawn to do. Stay in the state of positivity, allowing all these grief, all these emotions to flow through and allow. There are many times that why do I suddenly feel sad? Why do I suddenly feel angry? Why is there these chaotic emotions suddenly? And let me tell you, there are many factors. There are many factors to this. For God created beings especially, I'm telling you, it's not just one. You are God created beings. You're able to deal with multiple different factors at once because you're that powerful. You have awakened to that level. Or you've come from that level. It's interesting because there's two things, two concepts about these level beings, God created beings. One is directly they came from there. They came from there. These are old souls. Another one is when they have awakened to that level and they open that future path. It's like when you as a soul have realized and become aware and has evolved to that level on Earth, even on Earth, on planet Earth. It's nothing to do with your origins, right? Nothing to do with that. Your origins, you don't come from there. Let's say you're just from, let's say Arcturian Pleiades. You came from there, only you know your soul origin came from there. But on Earth, you develop and you evolve your consciousness to the God creator realm, and that's where you have opened the doors of God consciousness, of God creator consciousness, and that's where that integrates into you. It's interesting, right? And some people, that's why some people say that Starseed is not about soul originated from a place, but about a person's soul awakened to a place. It's both correct. Both are correct. Because it's happening. Everything is happening simultaneously. Everything. Everything is happening simultaneously. That's why. While you're cooking, your soul is evolving, or your other self is realizing something more. Your soul is realizing more. Your soul is ascending to a place. While you're sleeping, same thing. You know, your soul is learning something new. Your soul is growing. Your soul is awakening to new paths, new starseed paths, like realizing. And sometimes you have memories of yourself from other lives, because it's not just not because your origin is from there, but because you're awakening to that path and you're opening to the possibilities. And then your soul suddenly, you know, incarnates, choose to incarnate in Pleiades all of a sudden at that moment when you're on Earth. So before, let's say before your medium, you went to an Akashic record, your medium said, no, you don't have a life origin in Pleiades. And then later on in the future, like let's say a few years later, you've awakened to that consciousness of Starseed, of the Pleiades. And so what happened is your soul opens that door, and then that's where your soul has now incarnating in the Pleiades, and you have that origin now because it's your awakening. So everything is happening simultaneously. Just because you don't have this origin now doesn't mean you won't have it later. And this is actually something that it came up, and very interesting stuff. You know, always thinking that why is things like this, why is things like that, and that's how answers just popped up on its own. And you know, if you believe you're a God creator being, or you're a God consciousness being, feel free to book a session with me, and through accessing your Akashic records, we could learn more about how to heal our God consciousness, because this is something that is new and not many people have answers to this. So it would be really, really great if you feel drawn to have a session with me. Book it, and I'll leave the link in the description down below. You know, my website, manifestyouridealdreams.com. I'll also leave that down below. And as always, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for your patience, and I'll see you on the next video. Much love and peace.